Once again, you're welcome to this session of marriage and psychology. Uh, this moment that we talk about not, you know, how we should get married, and after we get married, what am I going to be benefiting from my spouse, or um, how do I adjust to that? How do I adjust to that? Instead, this moment that you need to know what you're supposed to pay attention to, even as you anticipate or avoid any anticipation that might cause stress in your life. And when I say in your life, now since we're talking about marriage, definitely it impacts that relationship that has begun long before now. And so, once again, welcome on board. And today, I would like us to probably have a discussion on one of the aspect of our body that we probably sometimes don't consider it to be um, destructive. And of course, as we have seen, the past 2 weeks, we talked about, some of those stressors, that could be labeled as trauma, could be labeled as, depression. And all of those, we've seen how it impacts our marriages. And so if those, stressors and that are labeled to be, trauma and depression, and we could see what part of the body that it affects, that it is not just by, it is not just caused by the process, or it is not caused by the space of time that you have been in the marriage, and it is not caused by those affairs, but it is caused by our behaviors, is caused by how we are addressing uh, the way we process our brain, the way we process any activity that goes within our relationship. And so therefore today I would want us to focus on what I call a storm, a big one, which is our addiction. And normally when you hear the word addiction, the first thing that comes to your mind is that you will just be talking about those guys who are more used to smoking, they cannot quit, they cannot do without smoking. You would be thinking about that, person who is alcoholic, that he struggle to, to stop it, to quit, drinking, alcohol, because of the nicotine, because of caffeine, because of whatever that is, in there. And so that's where mostly our attention will always go to. And but it's more than that, because well, if we stop at that, now the question is my husband, does my husband drink? What is his drinking habit? Does my husband smoke? What is his smoking habit? So you can pose that question, to yourself, and and see what you think. But addiction is a broader and is a big thing, especially today, that our world, is going, faster in terms of knowledge, in terms of science, in terms of you know, everything that surrounds us, that we would think, it's for our own good to grow, it's for our own good to advance forward. So in that, we do not pay attention to it as regards to our marriages, which addiction has done a lot of damages to many, people who, you know, had started well, people who have invested in their quality, and people who have invested in their in their valuable moment. Addiction has really, caused those marriages sour, bitter, and whatnot. So in that case, today I just want you to kind of know, and to kind of give a highlight for you to and for us, kind of, because I probably have my own form of addiction. I have my own kind of form of addiction, and so marriage should, the way I we always would like to see how our marriages is faring, or kind of working. I think I want to believe all of us would want to see a marriage that is so intimate, a marriage that is so attentive, a marriage that is so closely enough to allow the flow of communication, understanding. But when it is absent, when those things are absent, of course the possibility is that one thing has led to another. One thing could have led to another, because where is the intimacy? Where is the closeness? Where is the attention? Especially that, well, something that I don't know. Some of you that have listened to many marriage seminars and inspirational words from marriage. The one thing that is so common about women is attention. Women are attention seekers. Women are always attention seekers. So, but that's not, I'm not here to talk about who is a woman and who is a man in terms of, relationship in our marriages. So, but, just to let you know that, attention, when attention is diverted, or attention is kind of missing, is lost, you need to kind of ask yourself what caused that, what happened. And when that closeness that is that was there, you're looking for your husband is there, or your wife is there, and of course the moment there's that communication, body communication, verbal communication, communication in different ways that we relate in our marriages. So once this is affected, once we start to see changes, then something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere. So addiction, in a way, I would just put it, simply, that it's when you are so much, kind of committed to something that can completely take your attention from something that is important, or something that can distract your attention from something that is very, very important, or something that can stand you on your way of your job, of your marriage, or something that you become married to. You are married to this person, but now your marriage has been replaced, has been traded with something different, which possibly is as a result of something, because you know there was a problem, and you decided to kind of say, well, you want to live in avoidance or denial, or you want to kind of find some kind of a catharsis, or you want to find a safety net, or you want to kind of you know find a cover somewhere. So because of that, before gradually you find yourself not there. So, and of course, not there doing what? Doing what? And so now that's it. But I want you to know that this does not really just happen like that. Okay, it doesn't just happen like that, because it is something that happens. You know that this body that you see, this body beginning from the head and down, it is housing something. Okay, it is housing something. And what is that? This body houses the brain. The whole of this body that you see is controlled by something that is just in there, in the head, covered, in the head, in the skull. So the body houses the brain. And of course, the brain becomes the center of every activity that goes around, in and around our body. And of course, the brain controls even, some things, that surrounds us. Why? Because if you're sensitive to this, if you, yes, this sound comes, and everything is the brain. The brain, controls that. And that's why, when it comes to addiction, then definitely, like we see in depression, what part of the body does impression, that depression could what part of the brain could be impacted as a result of events or activity that really has really somehow affected the cortisone, or any part of the chemical, secretion in our body. So either in good way or in bad way. So and of course, one of those, part of the brain, and one of those chemicals, is dopamine. Dopamine, is one of those, uh chemicals that when secreted, it affects, you know well, it is not that the secretion is of dopamine is the problem. No, but what is dopamine doing? What is dopamine trying to, accomplish? Is what we are more concerned about. And so now, when you say addiction, substance, you could be addicted to substance, whatever form of substance, drugs, cigarette, that's tobacco, whatever form of a substance, we could be, addicted to that behavior. We could be addicted to one form of behavior. You marry a wife or a husband who is not used, who is not used to tantrum, who is not, you've never seen that, but as he start or she start, it becomes, or a husband who is not abusive in terms of words or in terms of, before this person become used to it. Or you have not seen this person is, anger in this person, but now somehow, his anger, keeps, going, higher and higher, or more and more. And of course, not only that, porn pornography pornography is, I would say, based on research, men are more into that than the women. And the truth is that there must be a reason why, this person is addicted to that very particular thing. So that's what I'm kind of trying to kind of draw even me myself, to draw attention in. Have you seen a home that, a husband and a wife in the home? Now, this woman cannot do without her phone. In the kitchen, she has her phone. On the bed, in the bed, she has her phone. Sitting room, she has her phone. Doing what? The same thing with the man. Driving still, with his phone. Phone, our phone, when we become addicted to our technology, it steals the joy of our marriage. It steals, it's a stealer. It's a thief. Technology is a thief. It steals the joy of our marriage. It steals the intimacy. It steals the closeness. It steals the attention that both of us needed from our wife. I've seen, a family, that relationship that these people are seated together, but this man was just there on his phone, and this woman was talking to her husband, but he wasn't paying, not at all. He couldn't hear. Honey, I'm talking to you. Honey, can't you hear me? Honey, can't you hear me? I'm talking to you. Why? Because that phone is much more, at that very particular moment, is much more important for him than the wife. Why? Because she is not kind of she is not you know close to the wife, and he is not close to the wife, because what is more close to him is the technology. So in this case, what part of the brain, you know so you think about what part of the brain. And of course, one part that we know is the limbic system, the cerebral, cortex. Oh, this the brainstem. The brainstem, of course, is in charge of all the function our body needs to stay alive: breathing, moving blood, and digesting food. That's the brainstem. And of course, the limbic system links together a bunch of brain structures that control our emotional responses, such as feeling pleasure, when we are when we eat or chocolate or kiss someone we love, or make love. So that's one of the. I'm sorry for the for the distraction. So the cerebral cortex is the mushroom shaped, shaped, mushroom shaped, outer part of the brain. And of course, if you probably look, it's a kind of a gray, so it's divided into four areas called lobes, which control specific function. Some areas process information from our senses, allowing us to feel, to hear, to taste. So that's when you taste, you're used to eating this. So when you're used to eating this in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and tomorrow you do the same, tomorrow you do the same. So dopamine, which part of the brain that kind of reminds you, so it reinforces that very particular, that behavior, or that thing that you are used to eating. So now, even when you kind of try to forget, now dopamine say, remember, you need to do this. Okay, so that is why some of you, some of us that are not careful, if we are not careful, like, yeah, because my wife, uh, at this time, she couldn't allow me to make this love. She next tomorrow and next tomorrow. Before you want to go outside and test it. And when you go there, and this woman, made you, well, made you feel good, made you. So tomorrow you go there. Next tomorrow you go there. Another day you go there, and because now, because you're trying to now shift the connection, the sensitivity of the brain. You're not trying to. So as soon as you shift that, and you remind the brain that this is what so even when you're at home, the next thing is like, you are like, I gotta go, because that at this very particular time you used to go there. And so the brain reminds you. The same thing with substance. We start from smoking one cigar, to two, to three, to four, to five. The next thing is a whole box of it, a whole box of it. And before you jump to more than that. One pack is not enough for you, but you just keep smoking. Why? Something, So now in this, when it comes to our marriage, how does addiction affect our marriage? It will affect our marriage If the intimacy that was there could not be found or is normal, now the attention that was there is normal, and of course, when that closeness is not there. Why? Because that is more important than this one. So we need to be very, very careful, in that. We need to be very, very careful. If there's an issue that is not resolved, it's better you resolve it before it becomes a problem. Because if you don't resolve it, before you know, now your mind will start to wander, away, and when it starts to wander, you want to think about what to do. So when you kind of resolve or make a decision to do this, you do it today, you do it tomorrow, you do it next tomorrow, and before you know, you are into it. And changing it becomes a problem. So and that's why I said, you could be addicted, substance. You could be addicted, behaviorally. You could be addicted, anything that could steal your quality relationship. Anything. You'd rather spend your time on that thing than your marriage. And some of you is friends. Some of you are friends. Because before you got married, you are already that type of a person that you always want to go there, watching of whether whatever leak that you want to you watch. You are always before you got married, you are used to that, and now you got married, and for you to say you are not going there, well, some people talk about it and tell us, what, hey, listen, I enjoy watching leak, or leaks, out there with people. And before you know, one thing leads to another. All right, one thing leads to another. So these you just have to make sure that when it comes to marriage, definitely you don't want to in any way, kind of allow any other thing that is not part of your valuable, or part of your values in marriage. You don't want to allow that to make a place, but rather you want to make sure that you have control or take control. When you have control over anything that can encroach, then at least you have won, that monster. So do not take it lightly. Do not take it, easy, of something that you know that you like to do it outside your marriage. You just have to pay attention to that. Because you would think that well, it's okay. It's okay. So it's not okay, because it's not okay, before you know, you are not there. I remember, personally, there was this Candy Crush was one thing that I decided to use for my self care, as a counselor. So it is encouraged that sometimes you find something that can relax the brain, relax everything about you. Just get doing something different from what you are used to doing, so that you can distract the brain, distract the body, distract everything. So I decided anytime I read and I needed to kind of rest the brain, so I would just go into playing in Candy Crush. And before I know, Candy Crush took over my studies. Oh, I want to finish this level. Let me finish this level. As soon as I finish this level, then I'm going to come back and continue to from where I stopped. Oh, let me finish this level. Listen, Candy Crush took me from my book, took me from my wife, took me from my children. You know, took me away from, some quality, time. But when I found out that is going on, I said, wow, something need to be done. I immediately, started, you know, involving myself into, becoming intentional in terms of addressing that a problem. So I got to apply therapy to myself right now. So I did that. How did I do it? I said, I can do without this phone. I can do without it. So sometimes I will leave my phone at home and go where I want to go. Anybody that called me can wait. Well, I know sometimes there are urgent call, but as far as I'm concerned, if it's not about death, it'll wait. Even if it's about death, then what am I going to change? I can't change anything. It happens. Except if something that is going to happen about the death, that's probably something that's happening in my house that needed me, and people are trying to reach out to me. In fact, well, now probably that's, we might say now theologians will probably begin to talk about sovereignty of God, or I mean all those theological, but the issue is phone or without phone, we can survive it. I mean, we began our life before the phone. So why is it that today the phone becomes a problem? I remember, back in one of the churches that I pastored, man, it was not easy because then, the network was, they was trying, when they were trying to work on signals, working on, transmitting, signals to this, or so, and this man is someone who was so suspicious, about his wife, someone who is, so obsessed with, his wife's, activities in the house. So, and as a result of that, at that time, because it happened to me, my wife was in Enugu, and anytime I call her and I will hear an Igbo guy, talking to me, speaking Igbo to me, I should be mad. Say, okay, now I know my wife is with someone. And that was what really happened with that family. And this guy came to me, oh, Pastor, you know what? My wife is seeing this man, anytime I call her, blah, 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 blah. And I had to like kind of apply some strategies and to see what is going on. And in the end, I found out no, it was within that period of time that thing was happening. See, now because why? Because of obsession as regards to what my wife is doing right now, what my wife is. I know that's why I say when intimacy has failed, when there's when we are absent of mind, we are not together because there's no flow of understanding. So when that ceased, then definitely we're giving room for suspicion. We're giving room for a lot of things to happen. And that is because we're obsessed with something that leads to addiction, and of course now addiction has taken over. So I just want us to really understand that in our marriages, phone, whatever, anything that is not part of what we have built together should not take the place of our intimacy, closeness, and our attentiveness to one another. Friends can wait. Family members out there, they can wait. Because some of us are so much, we're married, but we're not, we are so much still attached with our relations. But I just want to tell you that, free your mind, free your mind of any obsession, free your mind so that, I mean, it doesn't push you, it doesn't steal you, completely from the person that you love. If you love, do what love requires. If you love, do what love requires. And of course, some of you that listen to Beauty, Akpan, and the rest of them who are out there, a relationship matters. Of course, I believe she talks more about, what love requires. What can you do to make a woman feel loved? What can you do to make a man feel loved? These are, those lessons that we get out there. So if you love, do what love requires. Because if you do what love requires, definitely it's going to save you from addiction, from depression, from events that can lead to trauma. Okay? Because we will continue to see more and more and more that could be caused because of an event in the home, caused because of something that you have created by yourself. So try to run away from anything. Like I said, pornography is a big problem. Some people now are more married to people who are making sex in the movie, making sex in that they sell the. I mean, you are not the one that is doing it. You are not the one that is doing it. You watch people who are doing it, then you become satisfied. I mean, I wonder. I'm kind of struggling with that. If there's a problem that you are not, I mean, that you could not do it, fix that thing so that you can do it. Agree. I mean, let there be agreement and understand. When you understand each other, then you can do it. You don't have to go. You already agreed to live together. You've already agreed. My professor would say, listen, if you want to go on top of a tree and do it, go ahead and do it, because that's what we see there. All ways of do, but that's it. Once it enters our brain, we will not have interest. I mean, our wives are not going to be interested. I mean, for us, we're not going to be interested in them. So we need to really decide. We need to decide. And today, I want to tell you, it's something that we can research it. Why we have this one? She will say she rather marry a woman, or he rather marry a man. If we do our research, you will see why we got there. I promise you, we will come to that point, how we got there. And one of the problems could be this. Could be as a result of pornography, could be as a result of lack of sex in our marriages, could be because disappointment, could be because this person have all of these things could have led us to that. But we should stop lying. Oh, God created me, I'm sorry for, I don't mean to I don't mean to, someone will say, well, why are you judging? Well, I'm not judging. I'm only saying the ideal, what Bible teaches. Or don't tell me that, oh, because then we don't know, now we know. No. This all came as a result of disobedience. This all came as a result of sin. But man and a woman makes the marriage. Makes the marriage. But all this that we are doing, that some people today have lost their life because they're just trying to change themselves to this or change herself to this. Guys. When it comes to this, we can talk and talk and talk. But I just want to let you know that addiction it's not only when you are taking drugs. you're smoking, you're I mean you're I mean dead and serious and deep drunk is no. We can be addicted with everything, everything. So let's just pay attention to that. It's my hope that you know these little pieces of our time, of our thing that we are we're just grabbing here and there in this our time, that is going to help someone out there, that is going to be that. And I it's my hope that we'll continue to rub minds together. Like I said, always send your question. um we can talk about it. But check if your wife is not interested in sex in the bed. It could be a lot of things. Could be depression. Could be maybe someone has stole her from you because of addiction to probably pornography or other things. If your husband is not interested in sex with you, check it. Check it. It's a very big red flag. Check it. You know, just check it. All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy your family. Enjoy your together in togetherness, and enjoy everything that God brings your way. Have a happy weekend. See you next week.